And also with Mark and we had some of the reception for the Chinese embassy came, and Mark is very good to upfront to greet them and talk about the policy and economics in North Carolina.
Sure.
And in addition that with all the events that I have with Mark, I feel that his passion about the people in North Carolina, his passion about to promote the economic and also the education in North Carolina.
Sure.
And most importantly, he wanted to defend the conservative value that we all have because we have the shared interests.
Sure.
So again, that we are so happy that Mark come to this event with us and share his thoughts, and also that listen to our interests and our concerns, and also that just wanted to get everyone together to know each other because you are the strong supporters. Yeah. Again, that we are so lucky to have Mark here today, and let's welcome our future governor.
Well, thank you all for being here. We appreciate you. Thank y'all for being here. We certainly appreciate you. It's a great crowd of folks, and good group of people, and we know that your organization is doing very good work. I was reading up on what you all have been doing in the past and intend to do in the future, and we're super excited about that because it's right up the alley of what we intend to do as governor. Folks have been asking me, you know, the major question is always, what are you going to focus on as governor?
Right.
My answer is continues to be the same. Matter of fact, it continues to be the same so much, I feel like a broken record. But it's okay being a broken record and saying the same thing over and over again if what you're saying is good. And what we're saying is good. The report that we have about North Carolina is great. North Carolina is in a great place right now.
Yes.
Compared to where we were prior to 2010, we're in an awesome place. 2010 and before, the state was dead broke. We were heavily in debt to the federal government to the tune of about $3.4 billion. That debt was up to $6 billion at one point. But right there in 2010, when the Republicans took over, we were $3.4 billion in debt to the federal government. And we were furloughing state workers, teachers didn't get a raise for 6 years. You all know the story. We were in the economic doldrums big time. But Republicans took over in 2010, changed the whole landscape of the economy in this state, the entire landscape. Now, that's right. Not in debt to the federal government. Matter of fact, we have a $5 billion surplus and growing. We're the #1 business destination 2 years running. Everybody wants to do business in North Carolina. But our goal as governor, our goal, our team, and the vision that we have for this state is we really want to grow this economy in North Carolina. Right here where we stand in Charlotte, Charlotte is a great place to do business. There's opportunity everywhere you turn in this city. Greensboro's the same way. Winston's the same way. Raleigh's the same way. But we want every part of the state to have great economic opportunity that way. The eastern part of the state, the western part of the state, our coast. We really need to start making substantive investments in those places. We've talked for years about expanding the opportunities that we have to take advantage of our coast, expanding the opportunities in the east, expanding opportunities in our mountains. But we have not had the ability to do that because the state was broke. The state's no longer broke. So now's the time to start making those investments. And we're not talking about going on a wild spending spree because we have a $5 billion surplus and growing. We're not talking about that. We're talking about identifying the people and places in this state where growth is already organically happening because of what the legislature is doing, and then adding in those crucial pieces to help that growth continue. And there are a lot of places out there that really need help. Johnson County and others are places that are really, really growing. New Hanover County is a great example. Johnson County, as I said, is a great example of places that really need some strong focus for things like infrastructure and public safety and public education to help that growth continue to grow, to continue to happen. And we got to make that happen. One of the ways I think we can do that is by making some changes in our state agencies, places like DOT. DOT is woefully behind. We need to get them caught up. DEQ is just all over the place. We need to fix that agency. DHHS needs some reformation there, and DPS as well. We need to remove the agendas from these agencies and get these agencies to actually do what they're supposed to do. And what they're supposed to do largely is serve their communities. You know, I like to say it like this. Those agencies need a leader that's going to look at them and say, you know, you do not work for the state of North Carolina. You work for the people of North Carolina. And we need to act like it. And when I say we, that means me and them. We all need to act like we work for the state of the people of North Carolina, because the people of North Carolina are the drivers of our economy. We just need to ask them what they need, deliver it, and then get out of the way. If we do that, they'll do it. I have full confidence in the people of North Carolina. You look at what happened during COVID, the way businesses were shut down, the way the government stepped in and told you, you know more, they know more about how to run your business and keep your employees safe than you do. That's not how it's supposed to be. The experts are standing right here in this room. The experts on our economy are right here. The experts on education, educating your children are right here in this room. We just need to unleash that energy, do our part, and then get out of the way and let you do what we need to do. And that's what we intend to do. And then, of course, there's the education piece. With education, I have a couple of major goals in education. Number one is to bring accountability to the top when it comes to education, and we don't have that right now. The entity that runs public education in this state is the state school board. State Board of Education runs education in this state. And 11 of those members, the overwhelming majority of those members, are appointed by the governor and have no accountability to anyone. We cannot allow that to continue to exist. Our state superintendent, who is voted in office, has very little power. Folks vote for that person thinking that they're going to Raleigh to administer education, and they're not. They're over an agency called DPI, and inside that agency they can only hire and fire about 12 people. Education has gone off the rails in this state. We spend over half of our state budget on public education right now. And our children, statistically speaking, our children can't read on the grade level. And the individuals that I see that are responsible for that cannot be held accountable to the voters and the taxpayers. We're going to change that. We're going to make sure that accountability is paramount in education, because it's the one place where success needs to be rewarded and failure needs to be held accountable. And so making those changes, I believe, will bring us back to having classical education again in the classroom. Removing those agendas from education that we all see and getting back to classical education. It starts with reading, writing, and mathematics. And then it moves on to classes like civics and history and all those classes that teach children the skills they need to be great American citizens. And then it moves on past that to getting our children, actually getting them career ready. I cannot say that enough. For so much of when I was in high school, it was all about getting college ready. It's not about getting college ready. It's about getting career ready. It's about giving children the skills they need in order to step out at 12th grade. And if they want to go to a four-year university, yes, they're ready. But it's also about opening the world up to them and letting them know there's a community college waiting on you with a great career. There's the United States military. There's the family business. There's your own business. Whatever it is, we need to prepare you for those first steps with a K through 12 education that gives you that classical education and that base of knowledge that helps you to be able to do what you need to do and be successful. And that's where we want to get back to in this state. Because right now we are not there. We're not there because there's too much agenda in the classroom and not enough real education. So those are going to be the things that we're going to focus on heavily. Because we believe those are the things that are going to take us to the next level in this state. We came out of those economic doldrums of 2010 and before. Now it's time to start growing this economy and really supercharging it and see to it that we do have that economy that spans from Murphy to Manio. So God bless y'all. Thank y'all for being here. I'll open it up for questions now. But thank y'all so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Please ask questions. Whatever you got. This is your chance.
First, yeah.
Lieutenant Governor, I just arrived from New York, being late,
Sure.
so not being 15 hours flight, China, and then
Wow.
New York and here.
Wow.
So I do have a question. I was
Sure.
heard that the Republicans is going to add additional 10% of the tariff beyond the 25% of tariff for the product import from China already.
Mm-hmm.
What would you do when you become a governor?
Well, you know, the tariffs On the international stage, that's going to be handled mostly by the federal government. So that would be a question best suited for my colleagues, Ted Budd and Dan Bishop, and possibly Tom Tillis. But I would love to see some reformations made to make trade a little bit more fair in favor of the United States, because you always want to take care of home first. Of course, we don't want to be unscrupulous in our dealings, but at the same time, we don't want to get taken advantage of. But that issue is going to be more on the table of like I said, my colleagues at the federal level. Here in North Carolina, we're certainly open to doing business with everyone. I do worry sometimes about foreign entities being able to buy our land here, but that's certainly a question that's been going around in Raleigh, and it's a question that's going to have to be answered pretty soon, because there are a lot of Americans who, quite frankly, are very nervous about that. So when we get to Raleigh, you can best believe we're going to have that conversation, and I hope that we can reach a sensible solution that won't be driven by fear. Because a lot of what I hear spoken about right now, quite frankly, is just driven by nonsense and fear, and we can't allow that to happen. So whatever conversations we have about trade, whatever conversations we have about foreign entities buying our land, it's going to be based on common sense. It's going to be on what's right and based on what's right and wrong. And it's not going to be based on a lot of this sensationalism that we hear. Yes, ma'am.
I want to ask you about the safety, like illegals. If our federal government do not do anything, like what's the state can protect our citizens?
Now that we can do some things about that here in the state, more than we could about the trade agreements per se. But I think the number one thing we need to do is we need to make sure that our agencies, the SBI, our sheriff's agencies, our police, all those folks need to have the equipment that they need and the training they need to be proactive in combating crime. That's number one. We have to have a governor who is firmly in the camp of law and order. That's the number one priority. Making sure that that governor is on the side of our police agencies. Number two, those folks have got to be able to partner with the federal agencies that handle those issues. Right now, that's not happening in so many places, and we don't have a governor who is encouraging that and, quite frankly, demanding that. We have to make those demands, because this is something that I heard from from folks who have crossed the border, and they've crossed the border legally. They came in to seek asylum here because they were running away from despots and they were running away from criminal elements. They said, we came here and we did it right, and we come to these neighborhoods and we live here, and then we look across the street and we see the very people we ran from living across the street from us, who simply walked across the border because the border is wide open. That is the most dangerous aspect of the border being open. We know that a large percentage of the folks that are coming across that border are coming across because they're really coming here to be Americans, to find a better way of life. But with it wide open, in chaos, there are all types of nefarious people coming in. North Carolina has to do its part to make sure that we protect its citizens from those folks, the ones that are coming over from the bad folks. We also have to make sure that whatever we can do to partner with the state of Texas, the state of Arizona, all those border states, that we partner with them to help them secure that border if the federal government isn't doing it. Right now, I told somebody if I was the governor of North Carolina, I probably would not be here right now, because I would be in Texas with Greg Abbott protecting the southern border. Because that's the crucial issue of our time right now. Some very bad stuff is coming across. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Curious. Thank you, Mr. Lieutenant Governor. I actually look forward to saying that without the word lieutenant.
Sure.
But welcome to Charlotte. We're a city where 1 out of 6 are born outside the United States.
Sure.
We pride ourselves on being a magnet for talent.
Sure.
That's partially because of some fantastic schools that we have in our city. So they're growing. Businesses, opportunities. How are we going to continue to attract talent to this state? What are some of your goals to increase the case for having people move here instead of New York or Florida or California? What are we
That's a great question.